So in the meantime, while we're getting ready to go live on YouTube, I welcome you to prepare your Homo Butsudans in preparation for service. And here we are. We are live on Nirvana, or for our Nirvana Day Service. Okay. So thank you again for joining us. This is our Nirvana Day Service. And we welcome all of our new friends who are gathered together to join our service. And we welcome our Sangha members from all three of the temples that I'm supervising, in addition to any other friends from our neighboring temples and from afar as well. Here we go. So if you do have a Homo Obutsudan, I welcome you to prepare your Homo Obutsudan so that you can participate in our service. And as I mentioned, it's the 21st of February, our Nirvana Day Service. And we have Reverend David Fujimoto here all the way from Oahu joining us very early in the morning. So if it's a little after 10, then it's a little after 8. So hopefully he got a good night's rest, and we welcome him and all of you for joining us today. Okay, so as I mentioned, it is Nirvana Day. And this is the day in which the Buddha, the historical Buddha, had passed away. And of course, all of the schools of Buddhism all originated from the Buddhism in India. So I think it's such a beautiful thing that we celebrate not only the life and the teachings of the Buddha, but also observe his passing as well. And you know what that means for us as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, being able to come together to join with all of our Sangha family in recognition of the Buddha's life and his passing as well. Okay, so thank you again for taking time out of your schedules to join us. So we will begin, as usual, with the ringing of the kancho, which is actually going to be the little bell here right beside me. And as I've mentioned in our previous services, the kancho, or the tolling of the bell, is a signal for us to quiet our minds and quiet our bodies in preparation for the service. And as I mentioned many times before, if you can recall being here at the temple, as soon as the first strike of the bell is heard, everybody quiets down, and there's kind of a hush that comes over, and it really, I think, signals our quieting of our minds and bodies so that we can not only hear the Dharma and receive it, but also be mindful of the moment that we're together. So thank you again for coming together so that we can hear and receive the Dharma. So please sit with me as we start the service with the tolling of the bell. Okay, so we'll continue the service with our opening meditation, and we have a new slideshow prepared by Darlene Bagshaw.
After sharing. Will you please join me in Gasho? Namu Amidabatsu. Namu Amidabatsu. Namu Amidabatsu. Namandabatsu. Namandabatsu. Thank you so much, Darlene. We featured today our friends from the Buddhist Church of Lodi, who I currently supervise. And I saw one of my dear friends amongst all of the dear members of Lodi, Reverend Tom Okamoto, who unfortunately passed away, but still I think is fondly remembered by so many different people. And I also saw some of our Florin friends too. So thank you, Darlene, for that wonderful slideshow. So we'll continue the service with Sambujo, followed by the dedication of this service. And I'll go ahead and share my screen so that we can share the PowerPoint here. Okay. And so as we know, we typically chant Sambujo, called Three Respectful Callings, usually at our special services. And this is a hymn, and we call upon Amida Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, and the Buddhas of the 10 directions, and we welcome them by the word Sangye Raku. And typically we welcome them by throwing these paper flower petals in the air to, of course, welcome them to this space that we're all in together. And again, this will be followed by the dedication, the Hyobyakumon, stating and declaring our purpose for gathering today.
So please join me in chanting Sambujo at home. Pujo Mida Nyorai Niudo Jo San Ge Da Pujo Shaka Nyorai Niudo Jo San Ge Da Pujo Jibunyorai Niudo Jo San Ge Da Gu. Today, on this occasion, the members and friends in the Dharma of the Buddhist Church of Stockton, the Buddhist Church of Lodi, and the Walnut Grove Buddhist Church, and all of our Dharma friends have respectfully gathered before the altar of Amida Buddha to conduct this Nirvana Day Service. May we all truly reflect with gratitude and humility on that which we have been allowed to receive through the teachings of the Buddha. May we always endeavor to listen intently with our fellow beings to the summoning voice, and together as one family, be born in Amida's Pure Land. With a radiant, boundless mind, may we each regard all living beings with kindness without limit. Please join me in Gassho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namandawas. 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 Okay, so at this time, we'll continue on with our sutra chanting of Jusege. And Jusege is translated as 3 sacred vows. And as I mentioned, quite frequently at all of our services, chanting is a wonderful way for us to be together. Even though we're physically apart, it's a way for us to be together and chant, to receive the teachings of the Buddha, to praise the Buddha, and to, again, be connected with all the other Buddhists who also do sutra chanting in the past and in the present, and probably in the future, as future generations will continue to chant the sutras, and we will be connected with them as well. So please at home join me in chanting Juseke, 3 sacred vows. Gagon chosegan ishimu jodo shigan fumanzok seifu joshogak gaon muryoko fui dai seishu Fusai Shobingu Seifu Joshogak Gashi Jobutsudo Myosho Chojipo Gukyo Mishomon Seifu Joshogak Ryokujin Shonen Joei Shubongyo Shigumu Jodo Ishoten Nishi Jinikien Daiko Fushomu Saido Shoujo Sankumyo Kosai Shuyakunan Kaihi Chiegen Meshi Komoan Heisoku Showakudo Sudatsu Zeshumon Koso Jomanzok Iyodo Jipo Nichigatsu Shujuki Tenkon Pugen Ishu Kaihozo Kosei Kudoku Ho Shodai Shuchu Seppo Shishiku Kuyo Isai Gusoku Shutoku Hon Kane Shitsujoman Tokui Sangayo Nyobutsu Mugechi Tsudatsumi Fusho Gangaku Erik Toshi Saisho Son Shiganya Koka Daisen no Kando Koku Shotenin Tochi Myogen Namandabu 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 Kanishigudogu Byodo Namanda Vatsa Namanda Vatsa Namanda Vatsa Namanda Vatsa Namanda Vatsa Namanda Vatsa Namanda Vatsa. So thank you for chanting Jusei Gay with me at home. And we'll continue the service with the golden chain number 2. Please join me in Gasho. I am a link in the Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in the Buddha's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namandauts. 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 Okay, so we will now have a Dharma message by our guest speaker, Reverend David Fujimoto, and I'll stop sharing here. And of course, I want to give Reverend Fujimoto a proper introduction. And so let me just tell you a little bit about Reverend Fujimoto. So he was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. So everybody's probably thinking how fortunate he is to be able to be born on the island Hawaii. And so he grew up there and went to Honganji Mission School. And Sensei, can you tell me the name of your intermediate school so I don't mess up the name?
It's Kawananakoa.
Intermediate school. Okay. And then went to Roosevelt High School and Farrington High School and received his diploma in 1993. And so he went to, is it Kapiolani Community College? And then also went to the University of Hawaii at Manoa. And he studied psychology and he graduated in 1998. And so Sensei and I actually have quite a few things in common as I too graduated with a degree in psychology, but I'm a little bit behind him. And so both he and I, we went to the Institute of Buddhist Studies in Berkeley, California. And it turned out that I'm following right behind him in his footsteps. And after talking with Sensei, I realized that he and I shared the same dorm room. So we both lived at IBS. We both lived in the same dorm room. And I think Sensei can agree that he probably had a wonderful time, a wonderful experience at IBS, Institute of Buddhist Studies. And he also went to the University of Hawaii at Hilo in 2015 and completed spirituality or in healthcare. And this his education continues on as he studied at the Greater Good Science Center in Berkeley, California at Cal regarding the science of happiness. And I believe that they also have a continued website of different wonderful things about mental health and all of that online for you to view as well. And he also studied holistic health at the Quantum Institute International for Holistic Health in Honolulu, Hawaii. And he's a Reiki practitioner, a raindrop technique practitioner, which is very interesting. I'd love to hear more about that. And also is a holistic peer counselor. So wonderful, wonderful attributes that Reverend has. And he and I are also studying together for our clinical pastoral education as well to learn how to be chaplains. And so I think I kind of reeled him in. I'm currently in my third unit and Sensei just started. So it's been a wonderful learning experience to be with Sensei. So Reverend David also received his Tokuro first level of ordination in September 2007, then received his Kyoshi certification in 2010, and then also became a Kai Kyoshi minister after a year long of supervision in 2011. And he has a wide variety of different career experiences as well. Was a volleyball coach, as he was the assistant athletic trainer for boys volleyball. So many different things. Assistant to the director at the Buddhist Study Center, assistant chaplain at the Pacific Buddhist Academy, the Hompa Honganji Hilo Betsuin associate minister, Puno Honganji mission. He was the resident minister, and he currently is serving at the Mililani Honganji mission, and he oversees another temple as well, Ewa Honganji. So Reverend Fujimoto has been very, very busy in his maybe 40 something years of life. I won't out you in regards to your age, but I think he and I are very close in age, but just a wide variety of different life experience and educational experiences. So I'm so excited to not only have Reverend Fujimoto as a guest speaker, but also as a dear friend. And so without further ado, Reverend Fujimoto, we welcome you and your Dharma message.
Well, good morning, everyone. Please join me in a moment of reflection with your palms put together in Gassho. Make yourself a light. Rely upon yourself. Do not depend on anyone else. Make my teachings your light. Rely upon them and do not depend upon any other teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo.
Well, good morning, everyone. I hope all of you are keeping warm. And, you know, like Reverend Candace said, you know, what would me being a person born in Hawaii, what would I know about keeping warm? You know, I live in Hawaii after all. Let me show you something, okay? So this is what everybody, wait now. This is what everybody thinks of Hawaii, right? But let me show you this morning. It's snowing, and this is on the left is a picture of just outside my window. I cannot even see the park outside. So it's been really cold and rainy these past couple days, and trust me, right now you don't want to be in Hawaii because it's 57 degrees, and yeah, for us that's cold. Okay. Anyway, it's truly a great honor to and privilege to be here with all of you in this great moment, this Nembutsu moment that is surely unrepeatable, especially if Reverend Candace says, I don't want you to come back ever again. Thank you to Reverend Candace Shibata for putting up with me for all of these years. Like I said, you know, all of the two of us have some things in common. I think I should kind of clarify what she meant about sharing the dorm. She came after me, so we didn't share the dorm room together, okay? So thank you for putting up with me all these years as a minister, but like you said, also as a classmate, cohort member, and also for this invitation to share with you my thoughts on the Buddha Dharma, especially as we commemorate Nirvana Day. And you know, also, you know, for in the condition that we are in, you know, I'd like to thank you, and I'm sure everybody thanks you for your continuing to share the Dharma in this time of uncertainty. I shared with Reverend Shibata the other day that here in Hawaii, we don't have Nirvana Day. So as I was listening to the introduction, I said, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty good. And it's a learning moment, not only for all of you out there, but it's a learning experience for me. So like I said, you know, in preparation for this, I was nervous, and I'm still nervous. It's like when I first became a minister years ago, delivering my first Dharma message. And really, this is towards the ending of February. This is probably the first live service I had in over 8 months. Here at Mililani, we pre-record our services and throw it up onto YouTube, and it's just between me and the computer all the time. When I was at the Institute of Buddhist Studies, one of the classes that we had to take was on Dharma message presentation. Dr. Matsumoto, who I'm sure many of you know, started to talk about the three kinds of sermons: textual, expository, and topical. Today, I have my own three types of sermon: the one that I prepared, the one that I will actually give, and the one that I should have given. So after this, I'll be compressing and decompressing, and through this reflection, there will be moments of, I should have said this, I should have said that, maybe I shouldn't have said this, or I forgot to mention. So if you really want a good Dharma message, call me tomorrow. The other day, as I was flickering through my social media, I came across this. I lost everybody. Where did everybody go? I came across this this post from one of our youth group's Instagram account. They recently opened up registration for their youth camp, and although it's going to be a virtual experience once again, it is a great camp. In all of their registration posts, they had this posting about Nirvana Day. So I'm sure many of us can agree that this is what the meaning of Nirvana Day is. This morning we are marking the passing of the historical Buddha into a state called parinirvana, or a state of nirvana without ending. Of course, nirvana being the extinction of the worldly illusions and passions. The last statement to this post is very important. On this sacred day, we have the opportunity to reflect truly and deeply, taking one step closer to the ideal of human life. So let's ask ourselves this question: what does this mean? If I were to break from this talk, I'm sure I would get a lot of different answers. Maybe there will be the variance to similar answers, but each and every answer will be exclusive to you. It would be as if I were to ask 20 random people, what is your view on our nation at this time? There will be different answers to this question. Some will agree with, and some we won't. And we should not fault them. Shinran Shonin understood this through Yuen Bo's records in the following statement from Shinran Shonin in the Tanisho. I know nothing at all of good or evil. For if I could know thoroughly as Amida Buddha knows that the act was good, then I would know good. If I know thoroughly as the Amida Buddha knows that an act was evil, then I should know evil. There is that sense that we can and are able to make fair and just judgments. But there is an ethical dilemma going on. For Shinran, he uses himself as an example of how he is incapable of rightly distinguishing good and evil. Only if he had the mind of Amida Buddha, then he would be able to. In other words, Amida has a pure mind, a mind without discrimination. That is why Amida Buddha can rightfully distinguish between good and between evil. Without the mind of the Buddha, we as sentient beings, Shinran included, face an uncertainty of knowing what is good and what is evil. At the beginning of my talk, I read to you what is purported to be the historical Buddha's last sermon. Make yourself a light. Rely upon yourself. Do not depend upon anyone else. Make my teachings your light. Rely upon them. Do not depend upon any other teaching. This statement can be considered to be the very foundation of Buddhism and the application of Buddhism into our very lives. It asks us the question, who am I? Each of us are born into the world with our own set of complications through various karmic conditions. None of us want these complications. Many times it just falls right into our lap. The historical Buddha says this is the first noble truth. Life is not a Burger King. You just cannot have it your way. No matter what, life is full of suffering and conflict. It is at that point that Shakyamuni Buddha urges us that we pull up our pants, bear responsibilities for all these complications as our own, and make meaning of it. That is making yourself a light, relying upon yourself. We absolutely cannot push the blame on others. In making ourselves a light, we now move on to the application of the Buddha Dharma. We rely on the Buddha Dharma as the foundations to fueling the light. It is the renewable energy that keeps our light going. What is the Buddha Dharma? It's the ultimate truth. It's the essence that exists in everyday life. It is the ultimate reality that remains true, and a principle that everyone understands. However, as Shinran points, are often blocked out because of our greed, our anger, and ignorance. It's the Buddha's aspiration for all of us to live our lives in trusting in the Buddha Dharma, relying on the Buddha Dharma as the source to our light. I've often had this theory of the Dharma and its application to our lives over the years. I've added to it, and I'm also taken away things. So oops. Okay, so I've always believed that there is a horizontal line, and each end is a polar bookmark of our lives: birth and death. And in between is the life that we live because of our own exclusive karmic condition. Then there's a vertical line. It is the Buddha Dharma, the doctrine, the ultimate truth. Where these two lines intersect, that is where our lives get defined. That is where we become this light. It is, of course, that we cannot live all of life, all doctrine, from one end of the polar event to the other. It will just not happen. By living our lives with the Dharma as our foundation, that is where we start to live life, a life full of appreciation and of gratitude. That right there is the Nembutsu experience. That is the life of a Shin Buddhist. It's giving the karmic condition of our lives the proper love and the proper attention it rightfully deserves. So the question now becomes, where does these two lines intersect for you? And how do we find it? Like I said before, all of us will not have the same answers. For some, it may take years to answer these questions, and it's really okay. Life is always evolving, and we can take in many of its life lessons that I'm sure that we see in plain view, and some we may realize later in life. At the beginning of 2021, I'm sure that there are many lessons you took from 2020 in the crazy year that all of us had. Years ago, in my previous life, I was running some errands, and some kids were standing on the sidewalk and in the median, and it caught my eyes. As I got closer, I noticed that they were selling Krispy Kreme donuts for their cheerleading squad. And here in Hawaii, we only have one Krispy Kreme donut, and that is on the neighboring island. So if you have friends or family who travel to the island of Maui, that is the omiyage to bring home. Anyway, of course, I was suckered in. I bought a box. We exchanged the box of donuts for, of course, my cash, and like the nice person I am, I told the girl to keep the change. As I pulled away, I noticed the girl jumping up and down and screaming in my rearview mirror. I thought she was crazy. I pulled into the bank to deposit some money. Then I noticed $100 was missing. I counted and counted again. And then I came to the realization that I gave the girl $100 for a box of donuts. Who was the crazy one now? Sure, I could have been mad, and I wasn't exactly going back to the corner and say, hey, can I have my money back? Many lessons to learn from this moment. Ultimately, however, someone else benefited instead of me. Years ago, my former temple in 1 year's time faced 2 hurricanes, 2 storms, and a lava flow that took out one of our graveyards. Still getting used to the share screen thing. Okay. No words can ever describe the lava flow and the destruction that it caused. The lava surrounding the pavilion and only a finger going in to burn the back of the wall and leaving only the myogo alone. One of the stories that went around the world was of this family grave marker in which the lava surrounded the marker and left it alone while others got covered. Prince Siddhartha and Shinran became who they were because of all the karmic conditions that were present at that time. The way we saw, what they heard, all led them to benefiting us in the here and the now. Just my own experiences defines who I am, and just are few times in which the horizontal line of my life and the vertical line of the Dharma and the doctrine intersected each other. Through these experiences, we nurture our relationships to the Dharma, changing the subjective way of thinking to that of an objective thinking. It is changing the mental activity of putting the I into a situation and changing it into a mental activity on understanding the relationship to everything that we are surrounded by. It is moments like this that we go through that gives meaning to Nirvana Day for us. It takes the activity of commemorating the passing of the historical Buddha to giving us the opportunity to truly and deeply reflect on the life that we have. The Nembutsu experience is in reflecting and of introspection. We are told to look inside of us for those moments in which we come to realize that the Dharma reaches out to us in an attempt to change us despite our greed, our anger, and our ignorance, and live a life of appreciation and gratitude. As Reverend Dr. Takahashi Miyaji points out, if you can't find it, you're not searching hard enough. In making yourself a light, Shakyamuni Buddha is teaching us that we must continue to strive and persevere in all of life's ups and downs, and strive for those moments when these two lines intersect. Life is funny in that way, in those moments when we are lost, felt abandoned, that this light embraces of the Buddha is even stronger. Shinran says that it is if the teachings was me, only for me and me alone. The power of Namo Amida Butsu is the name that calls out to us and is felt and leads us out of darkness. I would like to end with this thought. In an essay entitled A House or Home, Dr. Reverend Taitetsu Uno writes about Namo Amida Butsu as follows. The Nembutsu is life calling unto itself and is revealed to us through the components of the name Namo Amida Butsu. Namo is me, who is lost, confused, and wanting to find my way to a real home. Amida is immeasurable life, the true and real life, which is my real home, embraced in infinite wisdom and compassion. Butsu is the awakening to the realization that Namo, me, is already at home, always embraced by infinite wisdom and compassion, which is Amida. As we come together to commemorate Nirvana Day, let us come to realize the aspiration set forth for us, to realize that the Nembutsu experience of the intersection of life and of teaching is deeply rooted in the true and real life. It is the experience of awakening to a life and making ourselves that light sustained by the Buddha Dharma. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and stay smiling. Once again, please join me in a moment of reflection as once again I close my talk. Make yourself a light. Rely upon yourself. Do not depend on anyone else. Make my teachings your light. Rely upon them and do not depend upon any other teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sensei, for your wonderful message. I've also heard too, make the Dharma your light or lamp or island, but I think again, the sentiment is still the same. And it's a wonderful reminder too of how the Nembutsu teachings are always in our life, right? They're on a daily basis. And I've heard too of using the teachings as a mirror. We have to really reflect upon ourselves, and what a perfect opportunity to not only honor and celebrate the life of Shakyamuni Buddha, but also honor him in his passing, and in the way in which he comforted all of his disciples by saying, yes, make the Dharma your lamp. I've taught you everything that I could, and this is now your opportunity to use the Dharma in a way to lead your own lives. So thank you so much for your message, and I'll be seeing you on Tuesday too. Sensei and I get to see each other every Tuesday for class, so it'll be nice to see him on Tuesday as well for school. So thank you again. Okay, so we will continue on. Let's see, I need to share my screen once again so we all have it together. Okay. So we'll be reading the three treasures together. So please join me in Gassho. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Okay, this brings us to the close of our service. And first, let me do a few announcements before I get to my words of appreciation. So the Buddhist Churches of America continues to have opportunities to join us for different meetings and workshops. And so this is for, of course, Buddhist Churches of America members and the general public. And so on Saturday, February 27th, there'll be a virtual Buddhist Churches of America Dharmathon. And so for some of you that may not have heard this terminology before, Dharmathon is a series of Dharma messages, our sermons, by actually 4 different ministers this time. And we are recognizing the 4 retired ministers, including our very own Reverend Yukiko Motoyoshi, who was the minister before me. And each one of them are giving a message. And this begins at 3:30 on the 27th. Let's see. So the following day, Sunday, the 28th, the Buddhist Churches of America will be having their virtual Eitai Kyo. It's a perpetual memorial service.
And the guest speaker is Reverend Kodo Umezu, who is the Bishop Emeritus of the BCA. And we won't have a service, Zoom service from Stockton, because we are required to attend the National Council meetings and things. So please feel free to attend this BCA Ataikyo service. And I believe the link will be going out on the 24th. That's when we receive it, and we'll be sure to send that to all of you. And so just on a side note, thank you to all of those individuals who have sent Ataikyo donations to the temple. And just to clarify, the service on the 28th is actually the Buddhist Churches of America Ataikyo service. The Stockton Temple will continue to observe our annual Ataikyo service in October, I believe. And so if you did happen to send in a donation, and if you haven't been contacted yet by our office manager, please feel free to call us to let us know if you would like that donation to go to the temple, or if you would like us to send it on your behalf to the BCA. So we apologize for the confusion and the inconvenience, but we just want to make sure that we get your donation to the proper recipient. Okay, so as I mentioned, no service here at the temple on the 28th. Okay, so March 7th, we'll have our Sunday Dharma service at 10 a.m., followed by our March Shotsuki monthly memorial service at 10:30. And on March 21st, we have our spring Ohigan. And this service is with Reverend Etsuko Mikame as our guest speaker, and she's from the San Jose Buddhist Church, Betsuin. Keep saving your box tops so that you could help us support our local schools when we return and we can receive all of those. And remember that you can continue to help support the temple by donating your osaisen, your Sunday offering. You could either do that by mailing it in or by donating on the website, directly on our church's website. Okay, Sangha Club is still accepting your bottles and cans for recycling, and those can be dropped off during the time that the gate is open, and you can just leave those under the carport for collection. Okay, do we have any announcements, any other announcements for any other clubs from our temple? Let's see. So I guess what I'd like to do is just finish with our words of appreciation. Of course, I'd like to thank my dear friend and colleague, Reverend David Fujimoto, for being our guest speaker and waking up early and joining us all the way from the island of Oahu. We really appreciate your words and for joining us so early today. Of course, I'd like to thank Darlene and Charlie Bagshaw for your assistance with our service with Zoom, and Tad Shibata for his help with the Onaijin as well. Okay. Oh, before I forget, do we have any new Dharma friends who just arrived today and you haven't been introduced? If so, please feel free to unmute yourselves or say hello in the chat to say hello and we can welcome you. I'm not sure if we have anybody. Please let me know if there are any new Dharma friends in our chat. But if you are new, if you're a little bit shy, it's okay. We welcome you to today's service and hope that you'll continue to tune in as well in the following weeks. Okay, so thanks so much, everybody. I really appreciate your attendance and especially this observance of Nirvana Day with our wonderful guest speaker, Reverend Fujimoto. So please continue to stay healthy and well, and we'll definitely see you online and hopefully in person in the future once everything is safe to do so. Okay. So thanks, everybody. Please, can you give Reverend Fujimoto either clapping hands or a wave? Or thanks, everybody. Okay, so continue to stay safe and well, and we'll be sure to see you again next week.